Hello everybody, it's Sephiroth4 for another weekly update. Got some stuff to talk about here. Let's see, first of all, let's get the update part of the update started, and then we'll talk about other things. Your glasses are askew, Alphonse. Should really try to keep on top of that. Sorry. He just doesn't know. He's used to glass. He's not used to glasses. First of all, in terms of videos this week's a chemo week for me, so I'm not gonna be able to record or anything, but I do have Wonderful 101 and Ni no Kuni and A Link to the Past all pre-recorded, so we're good. As for Diamond and Pearl versus, there's probably not going to be one this weekend, just because we weren't able to record, and we had problems recording the last episode if you saw this week's versus, so so that's just gonna be delayed. Also, this weekend is the Metroid marathon for Metroid Mania, I think it's called, maybe, I don't know, for Nintendo Project, so stay tuned for that. I'm going to be playing Metroid Other M, possibly Sunday night, Monday. I'm not going to be around, I'm not going to be able to stream Saturday night or most of Sunday. I'm going to be playing Metroid Other M. I said originally that I was going to be doing Metroid Fusion. I decided to do Other M to help accommodate some other people that didn't have... There's not a lot of Metroid games to choose from, so we have to, go around with these things. So that's going to happen. So videos should just continue this week. As for stuff that I got, first of all, I got a cute little Totoro plush. Look at this thing. It is so cute and so adorable, and it's awesome. So that's gonna see if I can put on Alphonse's head without tipping him over. Sometimes Alphonse doesn't have good weight balance, but he's doing well today. Also, I got a Blu-ray of Fooly Cooly. If you've never watched Fooly Cooly, I recommend it. If you're into weird stuff, I don't know how I can describe it. It's one of the strangest anime I have ever watched. The acting is weird. The content is weird. The animation is fantastic but weird. It's made by the people that did like Gurren Lagann. I guess that means that they also did Kill la Kill. And yeah, it's TV-14, but I don't believe them. But yeah, it's one of my favorite anime. It's definitely like the weirdest anime I've seen, except for Excel Saga, which doesn't have a Blu-ray, but it has a DVD set, which is why I got the DVD set. Excel Saga is by far the strangest anime I've seen, and I love it. I love it so much. I don't know how I can describe why I love it. It's just, it's so weird. It's so bizarre and off the wall, full of references to like various other styles of anime and movie making, and just like throwaway lines and these little cute little things called pachus that are like little Martians trying to take over the Earth, except when you hit them, they just have these faces that are like, oh! It's funny. That's a horrible description of the anime, and if you've never watched it, you have no idea what I'm talking about, but that one is more mature, I guess. It's rated mature anyway. So I don't recommend it if you're younger. But if you're older and you enjoy the strange, I do recommend it. So that's it for the updates. Anything else there? No. Can't think of whatever. But anyway, getting to the more larger scope of this. If you just here for the updates, you can tune out now. I'm just gonna be talking about things. So last Sunday, I was talking in the update. I was talking about how happy I am, but how much better off I am psychologically because I'm finally growing some hair back. I can play with a beard now. You can't really see it because my camera isn't that great, but it's good. It's good. I need to wipe this off. And then shortly afterwards, I was streaming Spirit Tracks, and then the news came that the CEO and president of Nintendo and the CEO of Nintendo of America, Satoru Iwata, passed away at age 55, younger than my parents. and it really hit me hard, I have to say, for two reasons. One, because of the person he was, which I'll get into. Just he was a good person. Aside from all of the skill that he had and everything, he was a good person. And I really don't think that the industry is going to find someone to fill his place that has the same temperament. But also just because of he died of cancer. And for some reason, I'm very sensitive to that. Being someone who has been fighting it for a few years, I know what it is like to be on the losing side of cancer, and I can't imagine what it is, how much pain and suffering a human being is in past, like when you actually are far enough that it kills you. Um, because when I was where I was before I started getting treatment, it was stage 4, it had spread to several parts. I was in constant agony every second of every day, even with like the highest pain meds that they could give me. Um, even like the only thing that helped was when they did my spinal surgery, removed a couple of vertebrae and a tumor that was threatening to cut my spinal cord in half. Uh, that relieved some of the immediate pain, but before that, just with the spread of tumors in places that really shouldn't be, um, it was, I don't know, I can't even say it was living hell. It was worse than that. And there's so much that a person goes through when they're trying to fight cancer, and Satoru Iwata really didn't show it, at least publicly. I'm sure that it was not fun for him, and outside the realm of the public, he was not having a good time over the past few years. But then again, maybe he was. Not because of the cancer. Don't don't get me wrong over there. I'm saying because of the type of person he was. He was just a very genuine soul. You can see like many stories. If you read the any of the Iwata asks, which I have read, they're amazing interviews with like game developers and stuff. It's really great because he's talking to them as one of their own, because he was a programmer and everything. He was involved in all the stuff, so he can get into the technical details, and like gets really and he's able to talk to them as an equal as opposed to the president of Nintendo. But if you want to see a cool video, or a nice video anyway, on just talking about some of his accomplishments in terms of programming and his impact, the J-Wits has a nice video, 4 stories about Iwata or something like that. Just talking about how he ported the battle system from the Pokemon Game Boy games to Pokemon Stadium, how he helped Earthbound come out, how he helped Kirby's Dream Land specifically for the Game Boy come about, and how he helped Gold and Silver be the amazing games that they are. That also, like J-Wit says, it's his favorite games. They had such an impact on me. It was like the perfect time of my childhood. Like I had friends that had the game and everything. It was a whole everything. So we owe a lot to him, but also he was just a very genuine human being. You never see him get angry. He apologizes for Nintendo's faults. He takes the blame for them. He cut his salary a couple times instead of firing personnel, which I don't think you'd really see people do, or like the heads of companies do. But all these things other people have said a bazillion times already. He was he was a perfect role model for how a person should be when they're given opportunity, and when just when you have the ability to do something, or the ability to change things, and how to change them for the better. His life was about making people smile, making people happy, and we're just not going to see that again. And I spent most of the last week really, really upset. I was able to record as I said earlier, record a few times, but I was like for Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, I was just crying like all the time. It was really bad. Um, he was involved in a lot of games that I grew up with, that like got me into video gaming, Pokemon, Kirby, things, the Smash Brothers, Pokemon Stadium, stuff like that. But also just lately, you see his name, as executive producer on all the credits because he's the head of the company. If you go back before he was elected president of Nintendo, you see Hiroshi Yamauchi's name everywhere. Um, but yeah, it's just really, it sucks. Um, just the feeling of missed opportunity with, aside from the fact that a human being has died, aside from the fact that a human being has died early, and aside from the fact that a human being has died of cancer, out of all the people that could have gotten cancer and died, I don't think Satoru Iwata deserved it in any way, shape, or form. Some people complain that Nintendo's been kind of weird the past few years, especially with the launches of the 3DS and the Wii U not going too well. But he really handled them in stride, and whether they have not been doing things well as a whole compared to Nintendo of the past, but um, he hasn't been going around blaming this or pointing fingers at developers or things like that. He hasn't been saying, well, it's because you guys or because this. No, he's saying we're going to try to do better. And that's really the type of person he was. He was, a happy person. He was a person that didn't try to find problems. He tried to make solutions, or he just tried to, continue with a vision that he had. Obviously, I didn't know him personally, so this is only what I assume from what I've seen of him. But like when they started the Nintendo Directs, which was something completely new, you didn't have that before. He became the face of Nintendo. Like I would say even more than Reggie Fils-Aimé, who was the face of Nintendo, or I guess still is a face of Nintendo. I mean, whenever I think of Nintendo America, I thought of Iwata, Reggie, and Bill Trinan generally. Miyamoto really didn't take part in the Nintendo of America stuff. It was more the main Nintendo stuff, Nintendo Japan. But I don't know. Iwata really became like the face of it. And if you look back, he had less and less of a role in the directs as time went on because he started battling the cancer a couple years or last year, a couple years ago. And it really sucks to think that, like, the last thing before he died, or not the last thing, I'm sure that he talked to other people before that, but one of the last things before he died was seeing how disappointed people were in the Nintendo's E3 conference and saying that we're going to try to do better. Yeah, it's just kind of sad that somebody who spent his life, trying to make people happy had to go out on a fizz like that. But one of the nice things that to come out of all of this is that aside from like one or two people I saw that just enjoy making trouble, like in general they like making trouble, and they just complain and are controversial, and they don't like people being happy or together. I wouldn't say happy, but together. Pretty much everybody came together after this to mourn Iwata, and that was the type of person he was. I don't think people would mourn the same way over the CEO of, a company like Ubisoft. Or, I mean, you didn't see people when Steve Jobs passed away. I'm sure a lot of people were sad, but you didn't see the same people saying, look at the amazing human being we lost. They said like, look at the visionary or whatever. I don't remember being broken up that much, even though he died of cancer too, and that really sucks. Screw cancer. Other people have put it much less eloquently than me with words that I don't use myself, and I wish that it's times like this that I wish that I did curse heavily, but I have some choice words for what I think about cancer and what it's done just to the world. It's it's really, I can't. There's nothing I can say that would equal the magnitude of how cancer has screwed up so much, personally and worldwide. But the yeah, you saw everybody mourning him. Like everybody like on Twitter, social media, other companies, the news sites. There's no dirt on Iwata. It was all Satoru Iwata was a great man, and he accomplished so much in his life. And he left a big void. People are thinking that maybe Miyamoto is going to be the next president. I have no idea. I don't know if there's a Yamauchi family member who is like next in line or something. I don't know if Hiroshi Yamauchi had sons. I know he passed the presidency out of the family to Iwata, but like now we have a spot open for someone who hasn't been handpicked. Iwata was handpicked. It was like Yamauchi said, "Okay, you're taking over for me when I retire, sir." And yeah, so I don't know where it's going from there. But it was just really nice to see the. I wish it didn't have to come about this way. It's just the unification of the gaming community at large. People that were or were not Nintendo fans. The Microsoft and Sony also talking about like the people in charge there, not just the company Twitters, but like the actual people talking about the their experiences with Iwata and just how amazing of a person he was, and the different companies and people like Shigesato Itoi and stuff like that. And it's just it was really nice to see. Just people are still talking about it over the past whole week. Just not a bad thing being said about him. As I said, aside from the two people, or not two people, few people, excuse me, who are just doing it for the sake of being controversial. It's just really nice to see everybody getting together and mourning somebody. And how many times have you seen the death of somebody important recently that everybody said this is a loss, as opposed to some people saying, well, I don't like him, or a bunch of people saying that he deserved it, or this and that and the other thing. Maybe I just don't follow the people that do say that, but that's fine by me. So yeah, there's just Iwata had a big impact on my life, and as I said, I have a special sensitivity towards people with cancer. And it was a real shock to me because, as far as we had been informed in general, he was recovering well from the surgeries that he's had. But if you look back, he had to have an operation last year. I think he had to have something this year, which means it wasn't going well. But he wasn't the type of person to air things. I mean, it's also just, this is Japanese privacy. That's admirable. You don't air your grievances out. But he was just an older generation. He's younger than my parents, but he's an older generation that I don't think we're gonna see again. And I don't know I mean, the Nintendo Directs are gonna continue. It's gonna be Reggie and Bill Trinan and the Treehouse, Nate Bildorf, people like that. But it's not gonna be the same. You're not gonna have directly to you. I mean, he really made that into a thing. There were so many memes involved with Iwata, and it's just it's a real loss. It's a real loss, and I honestly don't know what's gonna happen. The company obviously isn't gonna fold in upon itself, but then again, it might, because he was elected president of HAL Labs back in the day when they were having trouble, and he turned the company around. Then he was brought to Nintendo, and when he became president, he turned the company around again. They started operating at a profit, even if the Wii U still isn't doing well. They've he was also like on the teams for the DS and things like that. And the Wii and the DS were quite successful. Quite successful. But yeah, so I mean, there's a lot of games that I've let's played that have his mark on them, whether as executive producer or developer or whatever, not developer, programmer, things like that. And we're not gonna see his like again. And one thing I just want to ask people out there, just to, I guess, as the legacy for Satoru Iwata. I know it's a week later, and people have already talked about this. His goal in life was to make people smile, and he found that the best way to do that was through the creation of fun video games that anybody could play. A lot of people have said, just play a video game, do something that makes you happy, and that's really important. It is very important to do something today that makes you feel happy, to play a game that you enjoy in his memory. It doesn't have to be a Nintendo game. There's other systems out there, especially ones that I own, that I enjoy games on. But I think more importantly, what would benefit his memory and his legacy more is just to try to do something to make someone else happy, because I think that's really something he would have, something that we could learn from him, something that, to try to keep the world a happy place, is to try to make other people happy. It's not something that's very easy, especially in today's times. There's quite a bit of depressed people because life just generally sucks for everyone. But I know that everyone out there can find something to make someone else happy, even for a short period of time. And it's really important to try to do that, because we have to try to take this feeling of unity that we had, and it's not going to last, but we have to try to carry it as far as we can. And the best way to do that is through happiness, in my opinion, anyway. So, just try to do something today, tomorrow, this week, any day, and just try to make someone else's life better. Try to make them smile. And I really think that would be the best tribute to Satoru Iwata's memory. But yeah, I'm losing the ability to talk here, so that's going to be it for the weekly update. And I shall see you guys next time, and hopefully for happier times. This coming weekend, as I said, is the Metroid Mania Marathon, so I will see you then. Goodbye, everybody. Bye-bye.